everybody. Welcome to Sama, Seattle Circuit Music and Art. I'm Derek Mazzoni. And this is a show focusing on the power of global healing music, global sacred music. And we focus on stories and the actual performances of artists that are trying to make a difference in the world, whether it's their own personal stories on how they came to be artists, sharing their culture, sharing ideas, sharing the reality of their times right now. We're still in the middle of the pandemic. The vaccine is slowly being adopted. People aren't scared of it as much as others once thought. So we're hoping that inevitably we will be back to a normalcy and be able to share music and art and culture from different parts of the world here, or as artists tend to travel, if they can, on the stages and places around you. The artist I'm focusing on tonight, the artist I'm interviewing tonight, his name is Yousef Kekhia. He's a singer-songwriter originally from Aleppo, Syria. He left Aleppo around 2014 because there's a civil war and it was time to leave, obviously. Went to Istanbul. Now he's based in Berlin, in Kreuzberg, one of my favorite neighborhoods in the world. His music is combining contemporary folk and electronic music with lyrics in Arabic, speaking and singing about his experiences as a immigrant, as a refugee, living in someplace new, which is ideal for what I'm trying to accomplish here in Sama, telling these stories, moving people's hearts, opening up their hearts. He developed a singular style of sharing his intimate stories and making them direct and moving, and really, really like his work. And I want to start sharing this particular video. This is an intro to him. And then Yousef will be here in just a little bit. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Yousef Kekhia. I come from Syria, and I also lived in Istanbul for a couple of years, until I finally landed in Berlin, since 3 years now. And last December, I released my debut album Monologue. After the release, things were exciting, as I started playing concerts and enjoyed being out there, sharing my music with people and getting to know them. And as I started to prepare for my first tour, the fucking virus came and swept away a lot of plans, dreams, and gatherings. But the good thing is that we started appreciating each other more as a collective, and we feel lucky that we still have our loud voices. Another thing happened at the same time is that I was diagnosed with testicular cancer again for the second time, and now I'm doing radiation therapy, but it should be fine. I think I got this.
Wie war's?
Cool.
I always believed that I was a mushroom in my other life. My mushroom friends on the soft forest floor call me all the time. I try to visit them as much as possible, and sometimes I miss them so much that I eat them. Nature plays a big role in my life, my healing, my songwriting, and my creative process. And you know what? I love doing music, and I love making videos, and I love to try to combine both of them in something not always very professional or like have to be released as albums or something concrete, but rather just share spontaneous feelings that are so much connected to emotions and to instant moments that can be found in nature, and I love to share it with you. And that's why I'm here. And that's why Patreon exists. Patreon is a platform to support independent artists, and in exchange, you get to hear and see things exclusively for you. It's like street music, where you put how much money you want if you like the music, but this time you get unreleased tracks, jams, sneak peeks from my music, covers, and other creative stuff. Staying independent is essential for me, and I really believe that nowadays independent music and the community behind it is bigger than ever before. But we really need your support to keep it going.
Youssef, welcome to Sama.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
Youssef, you've been through some shit.
It's a nice way to put it out. That's how I do it in my mind, to stay positive.
Yeah. When did you realize that the expression you'd like to work with is music? When was that moment? And how did you get there?
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff to do. You could paint, you could sculpt, you could
work in architecture, which what I studied for years.
And when did you I want to do this instead?
Yeah, it's a complicated question because obviously, as I said, I have a bachelor in architecture, and that's what I wanted to do, and that was also my dream, and I have also passion for it. I really like it. It's also another word for me where I also get completely on my own, and with design it's also fascinating that you can let's go really wild with your dreams or not. But I think the moment that changed everything is after I survived, to put it like this, my first cancer. So I really wanted to, this idea, when you are a young guy, you don't think about death or time or all these crazy idea for a young guy to be confronted with. And I was like, okay, what do I really want to do if I don't have a lot of time? And I think was automatically, didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to think about it a lot. It was music, because through music I believe I can tell stories somehow in my way and in a more artistic. I mean, everything now I would say will be compared to architecture, because architecture is also a form of art and it's also beautiful. But this songwriting, storytelling that you can put in one word with words, for me it was very, very easy decision to, okay, I'm gonna chase it. And it started with having this the idea of the first album, Monologue, that I released, my debut album, and then I couldn't stop, so I chased it harder and harder, and then it became suddenly a professional career, maybe. So
it was a choice too. The nuance and the complexity of people's lives, wherever they may live, is lost on most people. One of the reasons I wanted to start Sama is just like, we're not getting anything. We don't know Syrians as fellow human beings. We just know them as a problem or a crisis or something like that.
Definitely.
So thank you for doing this and presenting this.
Sure.
Go.
It's a very important topic to talk about. It is political. It's crazy political these days. But you are right. It's part of history that we will look back to one day, and this is what we saved in our mind. It's crazy. It's not only about Syria, it's about the whole world. How if we think as, like, it sounds cliche now, but if we think as one, then you wouldn't want to save your own story like this, because we're, in the end, it's nearly the same story. It's only labeled by a name of a country and labeled by some lines drawn. That's, I think, also for me, that's my idea more in my music. Also, how I see also the Syrian struggle, how I see my struggle, how I see other struggles.
Let's start with some music. We got a lot to talk about. This is Sama, Sales Circuit Music and Art, Yousef Kekhia. The song is called Pshiyom,
Pshiyom.
right?
In one day.
What's it mean?
It's reminiscence
In one day,
about
okay.
the past.
Perfect. Here we go.
شي يوم كان عنا بلد، شي يوم كان شي يوم كان شي يوم شي يوم كان عنا حلم، شي يوم كان شي يوم كان شي يوم كنا نصرخ بصوت عالي، كنا هو كل شي هو لكل شي هو أحلامنا كانت حقيقة عكس كل شي هو كل شي هو لكل شي هو تعالى إني أنا وأنت بشي بلد مسكين، ومعي خبي الوقت بلكي نضل عايشين. راح البلد وراح الحلم، ونحن وين رايحين؟ وين الحكي؟ وين نحن؟ وين صرنا عايشين؟ شي يوم كان عنا اسم، شي يوم كان شي يوم كان شي يوم شي يوم كان عنا قلب، شي يوم كان شي يوم كان شي يوم كنا نسرد ما نصحى ولا يوم ولا يوم ولا يوم كنا نشرد نتخيل كل لون كل لون كل لون تعالى إني أنا وأنت بشي بلد مسكين، ومعي نخبي الوقت بلكي نضل عايشين. راح البلد وراح الحلم، ونحن وين رايحين؟
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Tell me what the song's about.
It is about what. Uh, so in one day, it's more saying like what we had in one day, which is referring to the times before the war, how things were for us, how we used to speak loud, which refers to politics or like demanding your
Mhm.
rights, and or how we used to dream and all that we had it one day. And yeah,
When you went to Turkey, it was like, I'm really missing, and this comes up a lot. It's just like you move someplace and you're safe, but it's like the food's weird. I can't talk to anybody. I'm not speaking the language. Everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing here? And you just like, this
yeah,
isn't my home. I want to go back home where I feel
yeah.
normal. Um, but going back home isn't normal, because home isn't normal anymore. But if it became, would you go back, or are you? To me, I'm an immigrant also. Obviously, you're there, and then suddenly you tip. It's like, no, I can't really go back there. I'm different, but I'm
Yeah.
here, and I'm gonna evolve here. Where are
Exactly
you
here.
in
A
that
friend of
place?
mine once said it very correctly. I'm not really here, and I'm not really there. I really don't know how like even if things ended at this moment, I would go definitely to see my family, to see where I grew up, to see my
Hmm.
house. But living there or like doing my career more there or continuing it there, I think it's a little bit unrealistic because of what I started here and because of the last 7 years of my life and the friends and everything that you build here.
I want to hear
So,
another song. Because you're also in Germany, so it's not like you're out there just like singer-songwriter. Germany has Berlin especially
club
has a
influence.
electronic music scene, experimental scene. It's one of those cities in the world right now where it's like stuff is happening. I want to talk more about that. There's a lot we can cover, but let's go into it right now. This is the song is Farah. What
Farah.
does it mean, please?
It means emptiness. And
Damn. Okay.
it's a very sad song about a very crazy big frustration moment from, I think I wrote it in 2015, about the situation of how everything is. Just tired of the news, tired of the story, tired of the never-ending story, the war, all these things that comes with it. So, and I want to go to my
Okay.
this void, emptiness.
Okay. Yousef Kekhia and Sama.
حتى ثواني والحروب عم تكتر.
Yousef Kekhia on Sama, Seattle Circuit Music.
Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was beautiful. I like the way you brought in the electronics in a nice. It was good. It worked.
Exactly.
It worked,
It's
you
not
know.
it's
Being
not
a music
easy
nerd,
to
you know,
yeah,
sometimes
folk and electronic.
sometimes you get drunk with power, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? You were living your life in Aleppo, you know, a huge city, you know, especially in the context of Syria, an ancient city, and then suddenly these things happen. What did that feel like? When did it feel like, wait a second, this isn't like, oh, it'll pass. It's like, I need to figure out what to do with my life here, or I could lose my life and things. We've seen documentaries and things like that, but what did that feel like for you when, you know, I don't want to take up the whole time, but I'm just curious, is like, what was that like for you when you're like, this abstraction suddenly wasn't so
Surreal.
abstract
It's
anymore?
the best words to describe
Yeah.
it. I think you never process it. It's I think there are there are moments where I still was in them, and your mind function to survive them or to whatever, do your job, go through them, but you never process them. And there are still moments where like, was I really there, or was it just a dream? Because you never experience this moment.
You were living in Syria, and I remember when the Arab Spring happened, there was so much joy and enthusiasm all over here. Like, you know, my friends from North Africa and the Middle East here were like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, you know, in Cairo, in Tunisia. In Tunisia, you know, I was working with a group of Tunisian artists, and it was like,
Yeah.
this is really happening. I
Yeah.
can't believe this is really happening. And, you know, and it was a tester. There might be like 3 Arab Springs before finally something happens there. But you know, to go from that kind of like, whoa, to now,
Yes.
okay, what are we doing here? How are we going? How are we, what can I offer to my home now? And you are now you're offering your art, you're offering your experiences, which is powerful. And it kind of is the most important thing you can offer as a human
One of the
being.
most beautiful things.
You know.
Privileged also.
Yeah.
To be honest,
It's kind of
it's I often think it's a privilege to be able to be where like on a stage where you can tell stories and where you can change. Maybe if you believe in it, it can happen. I think throughout, in my very humble knowledge, throughout history, art is one of the not always, of course, but in my mind, it's one of the most authentic way to change the world on a bigger scale and to change whatever your the opinion of people you live with, and bigger until you reach this idea of changing the world. So and authenticity is something lacking these days, and that actually shows our problem in these days societies, that we don't listen to each other. I do this often, of course. We want to convince, we want to talk, or we just don't listen. And art and music, in my case, gives you this moment, hey, you should listen. And if you listen, then you might be convinced or not, but you listened, you know the truth somehow.
Is where, to your point, magic happens. That's when alchemy happens. That's when you're like, okay, I can no longer feel this way. Let's, you know, we could go on and on, but let's actually share another song. This is Bedi Akhor.
Bedi Akhor Baid. It means I want to sail away. It's from the new album, so it's not released yet.
Cool. Premiere.
Sneak peek. Live. Of course, I would imagine it also to change a bit. So I'm still in the production phase.
Thanks for the trust.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay.
I like it a lot. It was fun to play it. It's a song about I want to sail away again. The same kind of pattern. Wanna go with this wooden boat. Thinking of something else than politics and war. Maybe romantic thing, and yeah, I don't remember all the lyrics in this moment, but it's somewhere like this. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Let's hear it. Yousef Kekhia on Sama. I love
Thank you.
that. That was beautiful. As we tell these stories, we can actually, hopefully, the next time we have a crisis, as we look at it as an opportunity to bring people together from different cultures and make things so much better. And it's beautiful to I love the
Thanks.
music. I love your story. Thank you for sharing it. I look forward to the new record on every platform that I'm lucky enough to be able to present ideas and concepts. And thanks everybody out there for listening. Everybody be well. And I need to stress this: we're still in it. Please wear a mask. Please take care of yourselves. Keep your spirits up, and listen to music. Listen to stories. It really is it's the best medicine that you can have. Okay,
Bye
peace.
bye.
Be well.